I think that's every business would say that who has good word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah. But I would say it's even more in my business because I go out of my way to ruin our reputation.
Fair enough.
On Facebook,
Fair enough.
like I have literally turned customers against us who formerly were really well spoken about us, just because I've disagreed with them on a particular topic or another. And for me, there's no sacred cows in that situation.
I'm Scott Hess, tax and business consultant.
I'm John Barton, small business owner. Remember the tortoise and the hare? Slow and steady wins the race.
We started Turtlesmith to help people start small businesses, providing information and resources to small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Build a solid foundation and forge your dreams.
This is always annoying to ask, but if you're liking this content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way for us to get more followers and more people engaged in this great business content. You can also follow us on all socials at TurtlesmithOK and find us at turtlesmith.com.
Please like and subscribe.
What's going on, man?
Well, another week and still no kitchen, but
Yeah, you've been valiantly working on that with the city and licensing and contractors and everything. And it's always more of a nightmare than you think it is trying to start something.
it sure is. I'll tell you what, man, I would give anything for a good hamburger from Chester's right now and not any more Reese's and chips.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, where are you at with stuff? Have they cut the roof yet? They getting the hood vent installed?
Well, the hood vent now has a big, tall, looks like a smokestack looking thing welded to it,
Okay.
which I assume is what goes through the roof.
Yeah.
And but it's still on the floor, so I don't know when it's going to get raised up and actually put through the roof.
Yeah.
But I assume that once that's done, that'll be pretty much the last of it, and then we can move our equipment in.
Yeah. And then for the beer, we're still fighting for the compliance license, which then we can submit for the ABLE license.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so after all that, that's when the inspectors will come out and tell us all the things we did wrong.
And then fix and then we'll have to go through the process of fixing them. Yeah. What a nightmare. It should be much easier, but I guess all those regulations are out there to protect the public. Or so they
well,
say.
if there's any consolation to all of this, it is that my landlord's place is still empty.
There you go.
So screw him.
There you go. Well, this week we're kind of carrying on our discussion of sales from last week. We're doing word of mouth marketing, and we all talk about it, but what is it really?
Well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? It's basically just people telling other people what they think about you,
Yeah.
And I think people talk about it in terms mostly of good word of mouth, it's like, how do I get my customers? They just tell other people and they show up. But we also touched on this in another podcast, where we talked about like jumping the shark and stuff like that. When how do you handle when something goes bad and then people are out there talking bad about your business?
Right.
So you got to watch out for that too. I don't think there's any real way to quantify word of mouth or make it happen in terms of a deliberate way, which we're going to get into this when we get into this first question here. But I will say this in my business, it has been one of the things that has truly been really good for us.
Yeah. I think that's every business would say that who has good word of mouth.
Yeah. But I would say it's even more in my business because I go out of my way to ruin our reputation.
Fair enough.
On Facebook,
Fair enough.
Like I have literally turned customers against us who formerly were really well spoken about us, just because I've disagreed with them on a particular topic or another. And for me, there's no sacred cows in that situation I feel like I'm a person just like everybody else. So I'll have a discussion. I'll have a heated discussion.
Yeah. We've talked about that before. Is a business owner really a person when it comes to media presence? I think we disagree slightly.
We do disagree slightly on that. But I mean, here's my thing on that, right? I think that if your business is good enough, right? If you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're doing a really good job of it, your business will survive the occasional disgruntled person, because what happens, especially online, is someone will post, that I'll never do business with that guy again. He's terrible, whatever. But then 5, 10, 15, 20 people will jump on and say, I don't know what you're talking about. That guy's great.
Yeah.
Never been anything, best place I've ever been.
Well, let's look at this first question from Reddit. Is word of mouth something I should aim for? You hear people all the time say word of mouth is the holy grail of customer acquisition, but there's barely any insight anywhere that actually explains how to make word of mouth happen. I don't know any marketers on blogs, podcasts, or social media that credit their customer growth to explicit word of mouth campaigns. It seems like one of those things everybody talks about, but nobody knows how to do. If I wanted to make word of mouth the center of our marketing strategy at Signals In, I'm not sure what that is, how would I even go about it? Is it even worth focusing on? So this is, I think, kind of hits right on the point where we all talk about word of mouth and how great it is for all businesses. You want lots of customers to be referring to you, but it is hard to quantify, and it's hard to base a strategy around word of mouth.
Well, okay, so there are people who try to create word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it is extremely difficult to fake authenticity.
True.
Because people just fall into patterns. The way they say things, the way they talk about things, it just, you get a feeling, right, that this is not fully real, that it's not fully from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
But people will try to do this. They will, send other people out. They'll post, they'll make up accounts, to talk about their business or something like that. They will tell people, well, even today, right? So I'll give you an example. Today, a customer said to me, he said, hey, I'm going to be in town. Can I pick up my case that I'm repairing for him? Not one of our cases, but just something I did as a favor for the guy. Mm-hmm. And I've taken longer to get it done. I've had the case for 6-7 months or something like that. And he goes, great. He goes, what do I owe you? Right. And I said, well, you don't owe me anything. I've taken too long to get this done. He says, well, I feel like I should pay you something for your time. What can I do? I said, well, you know what? Just come to the place, come to the new place, play pool. And if you like it, tell other people.
Yeah.
That's all I ask him to do. Now I know he's going to go tell people that he likes the place, So in that sense, I'm kind of asking him to do a little bit of word of mouth, but I left it open, right? So he doesn't have to do it.
Right.
I know he will because he's my friend as well, But I always do that with customers, and I always give them the option. I'm like, if you like us, if we did something good, please tell other people.
Right.
And that's kind of how I try to get people to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I make, in my case business, for example, I make an effort every single sale to say, thank you for letting us protect your cues, right? Instead of saying thank you for your business, I subtly remind them of what I feel our core value is, and I thank them for choosing us to, be that protector.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Word of mouth marketing is not your central marketing campaign. It's a secondary form of marketing, in my opinion. You have to get customers in the door first using other more traditional advertising, and then you hope that those people will spread the word of mouth. Now, you can take some actions to increase your chances that those people will go out and talk to other people, but it can't be just the only thing. Word of mouth can't be the only thing that are bringing people in.
Right. I feel like that your actual service or your actual product needs to match or exceed the hype about it.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people I think don't get, is they will get in there and they will hype something to the moon, and then people will be disappointed. It won't match the expectation. You have to kind of undersell and overdeliver.
Yeah. That's what we like to say: under promise and over deliver.
Right.
That's when central focus of our business models and business plans in the Turtlesmith world.
I make it a point, for example, in Chester's to ask customers. After I thank them for coming in, right? I say, hey, is there anything that we could do better?
Mm-hmm.
I've been racking my brains on this place, and going crazy. And more eyes are better than less. So is there anything that you can do, that you can think of that you would like to see in here? that doesn't mean I'm going to use their suggestions, but it makes them feel included.
Yeah.
It makes them feel like they have a tiny bit of ownership in the place.
Yeah. And that's really the central focus of word of mouth marketing
Yeah.
is that you have to provide a great customer experience. You have to give them a product that they love. You have to just kind of go above and beyond so that there's no question they'll recommend it to other people. You know, they want other people to come to you because they want them to have a great service or a great product as well.
Right. And I would add that if you want authentic recommendations, you want authentic word of mouth, you need to give them an authentic experience.
Yes.
That means that it can't be forced. You can't begrudgingly offer a service or be so arrogant about your product, that people are like, I don't care how good the product is, I'm never going back there.
Yeah. Well, and one of the couple of the different companies that I shout to the moon, one of them being Sweetwater, which we've talked about before in our podcast. I recommend them to everybody who says that they need any kind of audio or something because their customer experience was so good to me that I just have to recommend them. And that's how you really get them, is that customer service, the enjoyment of buying the product or the love of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you also hear people like, for years, I don't know about the general sentiment today, but for years, everybody who ever owned a Tesla wanted me to know how great the Tesla was. So building a little community or love of a product also helps with the word of marketing.
That is also correct. If you build a little community around it, especially these days, you can build and you can have a successful company with a fan base as low as a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
If they're loyal to you, because see, we have customers that do this. Every time we put up a new case online or something like that, we have customers that have already bought a couple cases. They don't need any more cases, nothing, right? But they like to be part of the story. So when we post a couple cases, they will repost it to other groups and everything. And they will say, hey, I just want all you guys out there to know that my case that I've had for 6 years is still going strong. You should consider one of these.
Right.
And man, you can't buy that.
No.
You have to earn it.
No. So I think to more clearly answer this person's question is you're absolutely correct. There's no, great trick to it. There's no campaign you can set up. Everybody does talk about it. The real ticket to word of mouth marketing is to just provide an amazing service, an amazing product, build a community around your company, and get people to really fall in love with you, your product, your service, so that they'll recommend it to other people. And it's a secondary kind of marketing, but that's what it's about.
And there's one other thing I would add to that, right?
Yeah.
And it is, don't drop your pants discounting stuff to get people in the door.
No, that does not work.
Because that's all they're ever going to see about it. If they say this product is great, they're always going to accompany that with, as long as you get the special,
right?
As long as you get the discount, go grab it now before it's gone.
Yeah.
You want people talking about you like, I would pay twice the price.
Yeah.
For that.
Absolutely. I agree with that one. So the next question we have on Reddit here is, what, if any, incentives do you offer for word of mouth referrals? So our word of mouth marketing is solid, but I feel like I could be going about it better. I'm brainstorming ways to encourage more people to actively spread the word. This is in regards to my cleaning business. So there were a couple great responses to this particular question as well, where people were saying what type of referral bonuses. Yeah. So this company, $500 plus $25% of spending. We do real estate, legal, medical, e-com, and trade industry web solutions. So they offer their clients $500 plus 25% off if they give a referral. And this next one is our PR agency offers 10% of each month's retainer for any referral. So example, if the retainer is $1,500 per month, they get $150 per month off until the contract ends. So in regards to referral bonuses or paying people to recommend you from word of mouth, I think you and I kind of fall right in the same line as this. I hate it. I hate referral bonuses. I hate trying to work with my clients to say, I'll give you $50 off a month if you refer me to somebody. What are your thoughts?
I feel like that it's one of those things that, again, as soon as you pay somebody to refer you, to talk about your company in any way, you've now created a situation where their referral can't ever really be seen as authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really the problem with it. And I think if you have a great product, you shouldn't have to be offering anybody anything. Your client should want, or your customer should want to tell everybody about it.
Yeah. Well, the adage goes like this, is a happy customer tells 3 people,
Yeah.
and an unhappy customer tells everyone,
Right.
right? So what you should want to do is you should want to get it to the point where happy customers are happy to tell everyone.
Yeah.
And that of course is not as easy as it sounds. It sounds trite to say it like that.
Oh no. Well, it doesn't matter what you're into. You're never going to have all happy customers.
Absolutely, right? But what you will have if you develop basically an army of happy customers or a bunch of super fans, you will have people that are willing to jump into the fray on your behalf when on the occasion that you do have an unhappy customer.
Yeah.
And then when you've got that, that's when you're really on the winning side of this, and you've got your word of mouth referrals.
100%.
Or your word of mouth. Now, this particular question, or the one that we were answering a moment ago, was asking.
They were talking about what do people do? What incentives do you offer?
I wanted to say something right here. He says, our word of mouth marketing is solid, but I feel like I could be going about it better, right? I would like to know what he means by our word of mouth marketing, right? Does he mean referrals? Does he mean, I'm brainstorming ways to actively encourage more people to actively spread the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is in regards to my cleaning business, mainly residential, but we do commercial too. So I feel like that's a fair question, right? Like, how do I get people to talk well about me? And we talked about this a moment ago. Just offer an outstanding service, right?
Right.
That continue to do that. But what does a person do when that's not enough? When they don't feel like they're really getting a lot of people calling in and saying, Joe over at building XYZ said you do a great job, and I'd like you to come and quote me on my place.
Right.
So I don't know what the best way to do that is. Now, what I do, right? I just simply tell people, straight out, I say, please just inspect the case. And I'm talking about my Q cases here, right? I said, inspect the case. I want you to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. I want you to make sure you're super happy with it. And if you're super happy, let somebody else know, how great it is, or what we can do for you, you know? Or tell them, if you know anybody that's looking for a case and they've really always wanted to have their name on it or something like that, I'll try to say to them, basically, okay, in pool we have a thing where we say, tell them where you got it, right? Which is basically to say, hey, if you like the experience, tell them where you got the experience. So that's kind of what I would recommend to these folks is when they're having their conversations with their clients, just say to them, hey, if you like what we do for you, and anybody that needs real good cleaning that's dependable, make sure you turn them on to us.
Yeah.
Don't offer them any money for that. Don't sit there and try to negotiate it. Just do a great job and just simply ask them. Just simply say, hey, if you like what we do for you, anybody that needs a service, because everybody knows somebody who needs something. Right?
Yep.
And a lot of times, like even at our house, right, we went through 5 or 6 different cleaners. None of them really, did very well. And then one of our friends, Lulu was complaining about it, and one of our friends recommended the people that we have now, and they've been with us for 3 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point. It is okay to ask people that are your current customers, your current clients, or just people in your network or group to ask for referrals. Like, hey, do you know anybody who might need my service? Do you know anybody who might need my help? Every year we have some people come in who work in various industries that I only see once a year. I do their taxes, and usually I hand them 3 or 4 cards, and I'm like, here, if you know anybody else who needs help, hand these out to your friends or let me know.
Oh, and yeah, exactly. That's another thing that I want to say here. And by the way, I've been guilty of not doing this. So, this is not a do as I say, not as I do type of thing. I'm letting you guys know that I myself am guilty of what I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
You should treat any referral like gold. like you just came on a diamond mine or something, because the people that are referring you are vouching for you,
Yes.
right? And I know that, in some places that doesn't carry a lot of weight anymore, but to me, a vouch means trust.
Right.
They are saying, I trust this person. If you're a cleaning service, I trust this person to be in my building or my house, right? Not only to do a good job, but I trust them, to not steal anything, not mess with my stuff, right? Not watch porn, on my sheets,
Yeah.
anything like that, right? That's important. So when your customer calls you up and says, hey, I just gave, Cheryl over at AMC your name for cleaning. Here's her number. Give her a call. Don't blow that off.
No.
Call.
Yeah. Call, and then when you do the service, or if you sell them something, do a really good job. Provide them a great customer experience, because not only are you risking that new client, but now your old client, if they hear bad things, you might lose them too.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And thank them. If you do talk to the new client, say, hey, when you get a chance, thank Joe for giving us this opportunity. We really appreciate the opportunity to clean your place.
Yeah, 100%. I always try to send a thank you note, or at least an email, phone call, something to let them know how much I appreciated that referral. So you got a video for us to cap it off?
Yep.
Word of mouth is the most effective kind of advertising. It's not a push advertising coming from you crowing about how great you are. What it is someone else recommending you, clients or prospects, as being a great resource and someone who does amazing work. So who can you ask to be your advocates? Well, the absolute best people to ask are either current or past clients, mainly because they've worked with you directly and they know the quality of your work and they can represent you in a really credible way to others. You can also ask old coworkers or old colleagues. So what kind of ammo do you need to give your advocates? People are going to ask you, what do you want me to say? What you want to do is you want to develop an elevator pitch, essentially for them. A single sentence. Who you help, what you help them do, and what you provide. I help X do Y by providing Z. And you can provide them with a ready-made template email for them to just copy and paste and send out for you. That way you can really control how you're positioning yourself and what you want to say. All they have to do is cut, paste, and send it.
I like this video. When I first started out, I didn't feel great about asking people, my current clients, for referrals. And I think this video kind of helps to give permission that is okay to do. And I think we should say it is okay to do. It's okay to ask your current customers, your current client base for referrals. That's not a bad thing to be doing.
So I like it as well, except that I don't really like the idea of a template, forcing your customers into what they should say about you.
Now, see, I disagree slightly on that one, depending on the business. Now, for your a product that you're selling, it might not be as easy as that. You might not say, here's what you should say about my cases. But for a service-based business like myself, I kind of like that a little bit. I do ask clients to, let me know if you know anybody who needs help or whatever. But I think if I provided them with a little bit of a template, it would be easier for them to recommend my services, because here's what I can do for you, rather than a product. It's a little different in the service versus product business.
I can see that. Like in your case, I would say something like, if I kept you out of jail at any point in our relationship,
Yeah.
And anybody that feels like afraid that they might go to jail,
Yeah.
Pass this on to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now it's, we help small businesses do everything.
Right.
So if anybody needs help with a small business, Turtlesmith is here for you.
I can definitely see where this can be useful.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you for your product. It's maybe not quite as clean cut as that, because it's not I help people do this. You're just, I have a product and it's great. So you wouldn't want to give somebody a pitch about your product to then try to relay.
But I could do more. I could do like in our email communications and things like that with people, I could put a signature line in the bottom that says something along the lines of, if you feel like we're doing a good job protecting your cues, let other people know.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That sort of thing. You know, just kind of a more subtle way of doing it, more than a direct, hey, make sure you tell people about the fact that we can do custom this and custom that, and it's $3 a letter.
Yeah, but for professional services, I kind of like that idea. I have never myself used that. I've always just said, if you know anybody, here it is. But maybe it hasn't been as effective because they didn't really know what to say or how to present it to other people.
Right.
So maybe if you give them that little guideline, you might get better results. I'm going to have to try that one out. I'm going to bring that into the old Turtlesmith repertoire.
Yeah, it's like we talked about before, right? The whole part, one of our whole things about Turtlesmith was like most small business owners don't have departments, right? They don't have a legal department. They don't have a compliance department. They don't have a payroll department. They don't have a guy, and so this type of thing right there is basically a let me be your guy.
Yeah.
Let me be the one who you can tell other people, I got a guy.
Yep.
Right.
I got a guy for this.
I got a girl,
for that.
or I got whatever. I got a woman. Are there some things we can just keep as a phrase, just even if we mean,
I don't know,
even
man.
if we mean, women,
Yeah.
men,
I don't know what
they,
the rules
them,
are.
whatever.
Yeah.
Can we just say like guy just means like generically competent person?
I guess, or I have a person for that. I have a
That
competent
just doesn't
person
sound right,
for
man.
that.
It's like you say I got a guy like the mafia, man.
Yeah.
Like if you got a guy in the mafia, he's going to get it done.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, where there's consequences.
Right.
Right. Well, I don't know if we thoroughly explained, what word of mouth marketing is, but I think we tried. It's just kind of a nebulous topic a
Because
little bit.
it's not marketing.
It isn't, like that's what I
know?
said. It's a secondary form of marketing. It's something
Yeah.
that happens after you've got clients in the door or customers already, and you hope to they spread the word because of such a great product or such a great service that you offer them.
So what is word of mouth marketing, right? So I don't know if we adequately answered that, but my opinion is it's not marketing at all.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I think you said too in our little break there was all about relationships. It's really about building a community, building relationships. It's a tough thing to quantify, but it really starts with the first customer experience and just giving a great experience to all of your customers or clients.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
you,
what it's
you just
about.
build that fan base, and that the fan base is what is your word of mouth. It's who does it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this week, and we'll see you next week. You can find us at turtlesmith.com and all of our socials, Turtlesmith OK. Any final thoughts for this week?
No, I think that we adequately did not explain
Well,
word
I
of
think we
mouth
got
marketing.
into it a little
I'm
bit.
joking. It's such a nebulous thing, but yeah, I think that this is absolutely something we're thinking about, and I think that we explained it about as best we could. Right? It's just you give great service, and we're hopefully we at Turtlesmith are giving you guys great service, and
Spread the word about Turtlesmith.
if you like us, like and share.
And I'm looking forward to hearing next week whether we got the hood vent up or not.
Oh my gosh.
All right. We'll see y'all.
This is always annoying to ask, but if you're liking this content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way for us to get more followers and more people engaged in this great business content. You can also follow us on all socials at Turtlesmith OK and find us at turtlesmith.com.
Please like and subscribe.